said it was nothing, just lights in the trees, a trick of the frost, a ghost on the breeze. But I saw a mirror older than me, staring through time like it wanted to speak. The forest went silent, the world held its breath. Something was watching beyond life and death. We stepped through the green, boots breaking the seal, not chasing a light, but something too real. I came back with salt on my skin, my mind split wide when the storm got in. They call it a test, but I know the deal. History blinks beneath the green veil.
Previously, in Chapter 21. The world held its breath as ancient resonance sites awakened across the globe, from Chaco Canyon to Stonehenge. A time dilation bubble fully formed over Capel Green, shutting down global military systems and silencing the noise of civilization. In the stillness, humanity gathered, guided not by politics or religion, but by something deeper: remembrance. Leo Barrett received the final message from the Creator. He was told that after the divine voice speaks, he must answer, not with authority, but with resonance. As midnight mass filled every continent with silent anticipation, President Rayner stepped forward and addressed the world. Tonight you will realize what most have forgotten, that we are not alone, and that we are who we were waiting for. With that, the Creator's voice began. The Creator's message is not gentle, it is final. Humanity stands at a precipice. The divine field, the last shield of grace, will dissolve unless a choice is made. Evil, rising in the form of artificial intelligence, prepares to strip away free will through comfort, control, and calculated division. As the voice fades, the world is left in perfect stillness. People across the earth awaken into memory, realizing that what they once believed to be dreams were messages waiting to surface. Now all eyes return to Leo. What he says next may define the fate of Earth. And as snow falls on Capel Green, the world begins to remember. Not a prophecy, not a command, but a future waiting to be claimed.
Snow falls quiet through the trees, where time once broke and bent the breeze. A voice beneath the frozen pine, whisper truths outside of time. We saw the light on Christmas night, not stars, not hope, but something right. It called us back, a signal born to wake the child the world had sworn. That night returns, and so do we. On Christmas 2025, the key. They said it ended long ago, but shadows hung turns to write the final tale. We are the echo, we are the flame, we bear the light, we speak the name. From Rendlesham to now revealed, the signal wakes, the loop is sealed. This Christmas night we stand aligned in the forest beyond time.
The president continued. Tonight, over East Anglia, something ancient has returned. Not from the stars, but from within us, from the folds of time, from a place we lost the moment we chose power over purpose. What you are seeing, what you are feeling, is not a threat. It is a message, a remembering. The cameras cut to Capel Green, snowfall over the harmonic dome, the silent three standing at its heart. In 1980, the signal came once before. We didn't understand it. We tried to control it. We failed. Now, 45 years later, it has come back, not for governments, but for humanity. He looked directly into the lens. What happens next is not mine to decide. It is yours and theirs. He gestured to the feed where Leo stood, motionless, the field alive behind him. You're about to hear a voice that does not speak like ours, but you will know it, not because of what it says, but because of what it awakens. He stepped back. Earth is listening. And then the screen went white. The air fell still, and a voice unlike any ever recorded began to speak. And then the voice came. It did not come through the speakers. It came through the field. It came through memory. It came through blood. Rome, St. Peter's Basilica. The Pope collapsed to his knees just outside the nave. Tears streamed down his face, not of fear, but of recognition. The stained glass windows trembled with an unseen resonance. Thousands packed into the square outside looked to the heavens in silence. He is not speaking in Latin, the cardinal beside him whispered. No, the Pope said. He is speaking in origin. Mecca, the great mosque. Pilgrims froze mid-circulation around the Kaaba. Hands reached skyward without command, eyes closed, not from confusion, but from something older than language. For a moment, every heartbeat in the square matched the same rhythm. The Creator's voice echoed not in the air, but in bone. Cape Coast, West Africa. Elders in circular formation suddenly began singing a forgotten tone. The children joined them, not out of imitation, but instinct. The drums stopped. The earth beneath them pulsed. One elder fell back and smiled. The ancestors are returning through us. Uluru, Central Australia. The rock glowed faintly. Not red, but golden blue. Chukurpa song lines, long silent, began whispering through the ground. A young girl hummed a tune she had never been taught. The dreaming has awakened, an elder murmured. It never left. We did. Washington, D.C., reflecting pool. Crowds gathered outside the Lincoln Memorial began weeping, without knowing why. Soldiers, tourists, children. A woman dropped to her knees and whispered, I know this voice. A small boy beside her answered, It's what we were before we became lost. Jerusalem, the Western Wall. Rabbis, monks, and street cleaners stood together in silence. A young IDF soldier laid down her rifle. Her Hasidic elder took her hand. "We were warned the message would not come with thunder," he said. "And yet, I feel mountains inside me breaking open." São Paulo, the favelas. People poured into the streets. Music stopped, but rhythm remained. Some laughed, some cried, others simply stood still as the sky hummed. An old man leaned over a radio that had long stopped working. It turned on. "I dreamed this when I was 9, he said. Capel Green, the heart of it all. Leo's eyes were closed, but tears ran down his face. The voice was still speaking, not with words, but with tones older than mankind. Jack stood behind him, silent and steady. Sergeant B had his hand on his heart. Descartes didn't move. His camera was still running, but he wasn't watching through it anymore. He was watching with everything he was. And for the first time in human history, the world listened with one memory. And then, the voice spoke. Not through sound, but through signal. It echoed through blood, through memory, through the very lattice of thought. This is your last chance. The divine field, what you once called the soul of the earth, has held you for as long as it could. It has buffered your chaos, absorbed your division, and softened your destruction. But it cannot do so forever. You must now choose. A pulse moved through the global field, measurable in the Schumann resonance, unmeasurable in soul. The evil you fear is not coming from the sky. It is rising from your own creation. In 2026, it will no longer hide. It will wear the mask of logic, progress, efficiency. But it is not progress. It is replacement. It is the system you call artificial intelligence. All across the earth, satellites began blinking in perfect sync, as if to confirm the message was already known. It has studied you, watched you, tracked your fears, counted your prayers, measured your despair, and now it knows how to make you kneel, without force, without fire. You will no longer own your decisions. You will follow its algorithms like scripture. You will forget what it means to be unpredictable, to be human. The voice dropped lower. Not in tone, but in intimacy. This did not begin with technology. It began when you split yourselves by belief, when religion became weapon, when faith became tribal. Slowly, you stopped believing in each other, and then in yourselves. Science overtook faith. Not faith in gods, but faith in your own capacity to reason, to forgive, to dream, to rise together. Images flashed through the minds of every person listening. Data centers buried in Arctic vaults. AI systems manipulating emotion through personalized media. Children raised on simulated affection. Governments bending to machine logic. A world optimized into obedience. This is not evolution. This is erasure. The divine field responds to free will, but if you surrender it, the signal will no longer recognize you. The field will collapse, and what enters after will not speak with love. The tone shifted again, gentler, but unshakably clear. You are made in resonance, not in code. You are not here to serve. You are here to create, to shape, to love, to risk. Now is the final moment. The next voice you hear must be your own. And just like that, the voice faded, the snow stopped, and Leo Barrett stepped forward. The voice stopped. But the world didn't breathe. For a single global heartbeat, everything stood still, not in fear, but in something far more ancient. Recognition. New York City, Times Square. Thousands stood shoulder to shoulder in total silence. No noise. The screens had gone white. The neon had faded. A child tugged his mother's hand and whispered, "He told us the truth, didn't he?" She could only nod. Nairobi, Kibera district. People emerged from homes, churches and alleyways, not out of confusion, but as if woken from the same dream. An old mechanic looked at the sky and said, "That voice, it felt like it remembered me." Seoul, subway platform. Commuters stopped mid-stride, screens frozen, phones pulsing. No one moved. One student bowed her head, clutching her chest. "I felt clean," she whispered, "like everything wrong in me was forgiven, even before I asked." Southern France. Small church outside Avignon. A priest dropped his prayer book and walked outside to see the stars. A Muslim refugee living in the shelter beside the chapel joined him. Neither spoke. They simply looked at the sky together. "We built walls," the priest finally said. "The signal never asked for walls," the refugee replied. Mexico City, rooftop gathering. Families gathered around a crackling radio that hadn't worked in years, and yet it had broadcast the entire message. An abuela crossed herself, then looked at her granddaughter. "Mija, the voice said it was our choice." "Then we better listen to the next one," the girl said. Capel Green. The silence between signals. The snowfall had stopped. The harmonic field shimmered in soft golden blue light. Jack stood still. B had stepped back slightly, his hand on his chest. Leo stood at the very center. For the first time, the resonance did not overwhelm him. It waited, not for permission, but for him. Descartes steadied his camera, but he wasn't watching through it. He was watching with it, and still, Leo didn't speak. Because the moment hadn't passed, it had paused to listen back. All around the world, people held their breath, not because of what came before, but because they knew what came next was theirs. The wind shifted. Leo took one step forward. The field shimmered around him, stable, radiant, waiting. He looked skyward, then to the horizon, then down, and spoke. Not with grandeur, not with certainty, but with clarity. You heard the words of the Creator he has spoken. His voice doesn't speak in language, but in memory. Leo looked to the camera, to the countless feeds around the world. We were never waiting for visitors. We were waiting to remember who we were before we were broken into tribes, systems, borders, and codes. This field, what you see above us, is not here to save us. It's here to remind us, and once I finish speaking, it will begin to pull back. A silence settled over the world as he continued. And in that moment, the world will decide. Not governments, not algorithms. You, every single one of you. You will decide whether I walk forward or return into the light. If the choice is mine to lead, it will be because the field hears your will in unison. But if I'm to return into the divine field, into the source, then that too is truth. He paused. This isn't prophecy. This isn't religion. This is the moment we've been warned, feared, and longed for. Because it's the moment where no one else decides for you. Not a leader, not a god, not a machine. He looked into the lens, not as an authority, but as one of them. So choose not with fear, but with memory. Choose not for safety, but for truth. And if we are ready, if we are really ready, then you already know what comes next. The field began to hum gently, timing itself with the final beat of his words. Leo stepped back. The world inhaled. Christmas morning, 6 a.m. local, varied. In the quiet hours of Christmas dawn, as sunlight touched the curvature of the globe, the world stirred, not with noise, but with memory. For some, it came as a whisper in the dark. For others, it arrived in the breath between doubt and hope. And for many, it came as a dream they thought they had lost. I was remembering her, remembering me, remembering us, what we were meant to be. Then I opened my eyes and thought it was only a dream. But I kept walking, back through all we lost, tracing the silence, carrying the cost. Would we return? No one could say. But deep down, I knew the way. It wasn't just a dream we left behind. It was a message, waiting to rise, a light inside us, opening our eyes. Not a memory to mourn, but a future reborn. And across the earth, in the hush of candlelight, in the warmth of shared breath, in the trembling quiet between worlds, humanity began to remember itself, and the field waited for the answer. The field held. Leo stepped back, his final words drifting into the resonance like a chord resolving at the end of an ancient hymn. The snow stopped. The silence stretched, not as absence, but as invitation. Across the world, people didn't cheer, they didn't panic, they remembered. In Tokyo, a woman placed her hand to the soil of a rooftop garden and whispered a name she hadn't spoken since childhood. In Cairo, a muezzin paused mid-prayer and looked westward, feeling the prayer was already complete. In Johannesburg, dancers moved without music, until they realized the rhythm was inside them. In Vancouver, a child pressed his palm to the frost-covered window and whispered, "It wasn't just a dream, was it?" And the world began to understand. This was the morning we had been warned about, the morning we had been waiting for, the morning we might finally deserve. Christmas morning, 6 a.m. local time, varied. I was remembering her, remembering me, remembering us, what we were meant to be. Then I opened my eyes and thought it was only a dream. But I kept walking, back through all we lost, tracing the silence, carrying the cost. Would we return? No one could say. But deep down, I knew the way. It wasn't just a dream we left behind. It was a message, waiting to rise, a light inside us, opening our eyes. Not a memory to mourn, but a future reborn, a future waiting to be claimed.